Grimmhauser's gigantus, or paranormal harbinger of hysteria? What was the Point Pleasant Mothman? Unusually small for a Nymphalis polychloris, wouldn't you say, Ray?
Just like George Lazenby said, lepidoptery, fascinating subject. Hey, Andreas, did the Mothman eat all your fancy clothes? You seem to wear the same thing every week.
This isn't a fashion show, Ray.
I'll say. Hey, Andreas, ask Nadia if you'd like me to come over tonight and butter her rice-a-roni.
That's so unbelievably gross.
I guess.
That was a good movie.
1966. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you?
Where was I?
It's a funny year for me. I was articulating an estuary in Oceania, fleeing from a double-vaulted cassowary. Barely made it out alive. How about you?
1966.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you kidding me? Let's just move on, okay?
Where were you?
I was a ghost.
I was a ghost of a ghost. But, so... It wasn't a very pleasant year in 1966 in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The Mothman. Unbelievable story. And when I say unbelievable, slightly believable, but still unbelievable. More than 200 residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia cited a moth-like creature up to 7 feet high or tall.
What?
Yes, exactly. That had not only attacked grave diggers, workers. Of course, they get attacked. They're digging graves in the middle of the night. They're going to get attacked by something paranormal. But also numerous couples, families that were just driving back and forth in the evening, reaching speeds of, they say, up to 100 miles an hour, chasing down people in their motor cars and just making a real asshole out of himself. And so, yeah, not so pleasant indeed. One of the reported particulars was these striking red eyes. And yeah, more than 200 reported sightings by the local residents of Point Pleasant. However, I will say, just to get it over with, that once people started reporting the sightings, describing it, then other people started coming and reporting the sightings and describing it, and you know how that spirals. And I would say maybe half of those were legitimate sightings. But what says you?
Oh, me?
Either.
Well, let me tell you, I don't trust it. You know, something flying 100 miles an hour. Superman's not a cryptid, people. He is not a cryptid. Red eyes, laser eyes, come on. What do you think?
I don't know. I saw a couple black and white photos of something like flying like towards like a bridge.
Yes, the Ohio bridge
Ohio.
disaster.
And like kind of just sitting on the bridge.
Oh, sitting on the bridge, yeah.
It was like a couple days before it collapsed. And that's weird. Like,
that is so
it does
weird.
look like some sort of creature, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, the
I mean,
thing
I don't know.
about that specific image is I did so much, when I say so much, I did my level of so much research to attempt to find out, is that a Photoshop, a fabricated photo, and I hear 75% legitimate, and then the rest is fabricated, and it was even reported that it had been misidentified, the Mothman, as a sandhill crane blown off its migration route. And that seems pretty
It
fantastic.
would be that big.
Yeah, well, they say that they can be up to 4 to 5 feet.
Okay.
But why would it be harassing motorists and grave diggers? And if that's the case, or there was also another one, a zoologist. I don't even want to mention his name because his interpretation was so preposterous that it was a large owl that was terrorizing yeah, so I don't know about that.
I mean, a large owl. You'd be driving 100 miles away from a large owl. I don't think so.
Like an owl keeping up with a car at 100 miles per hour?
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. And that Ohio bridge disaster did leave 46 people dead, and also ties to your subject, the MIB, the Men in Black. There's visitations by supposed Men in Black after the sightings.
Well, you got to check. You never know. You know, giant Mothman is one thing, but aliens are for sure.
Aliens are for sure. So, was it more than just a paranormal cryptid, or was there an extraterrestrial connection here, which we're going to get to here in a moment?
Could be an angel.
An angel.
An angel who harasses cars.
Like a dark angel.
Oh, there we go.
Fallen angel.
That's better.
Well, there was that theory that the Mothman was not just a harbinger of doom, but perhaps even a giving warnings to people on upcoming tragedies that might be occurring.
I mean, don't shoot the messenger. Come on, people.
That's what I heard. I mean, I read that too.
Yes.
Look, I mean, I'd be the first one to call the Winchesters if everything goes south, but I'm just saying. Come on.
All right.
It's kind of hard to not be, I don't know. It's not a current event, so it's kind of hard to I don't know, have as much, I don't know.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Firm opinions on it. You know what I mean? But because all we can work with is pretty old stuff.
Well, given it just your college guess.
I think it's something. I don't know if the Mothman is a Mothman.
That's more than anyone else gives.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, something that was a theory that was put forth was it had never actually harmed a human being, unless you want to count the bridge disaster. But no harm came to an actual human being except in the movie. And
good point.
Yeah, and but there were a few pets, a few dogs that had disappeared, and so that counts as harm to me. But
You know, a moth guy's got to eat. All right.
I never even looked at it that way. That's not a bad bit.
Speaking of eating.
Rice-a-roni. It's San Francisco's treat, and the people in New Jersey know nothing about it, but it is dreamy. It is delicious. Goes well with a little bit extra corn, if you will.
What does it smell like? Beef?
It smells like victory. Thank you.
So if you hadn't guessed, this episode of the Erich Andreas Unexplained is brought to you by Rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Yum.
Rice-a-roni, a San Francisco treat. Get a load of these two goofy dollies and making a career out of making a pot of rice. Get a life, you dizzy broads. Make the rice-a-roni. It takes 10 minutes. Your husband's going to be home. Stop yakking about it. Let him enjoy the San Francisco treat, rice-a-roni.
There we are. Isn't that fun? So, the smiling, grinning man. It's a accompanying subject, and Ingrid Cold. We might remember from the movie, but Ingrid Cold was this mysterious figure that was associated with the Mothman and the Mothman sightings. He would supposedly speak telepathically to the people that he encountered. There was a chap, what was his name? Derenberger, I think. He had something Derenberger. And Derenberger had this connection with Ingrid Cold, who he had met driving down the motorway in the middle of the evening when he wasn't selling typewriters or sewing machines, whatever he was selling. And he came across a spacecraft, landed in the middle of the road. This humanoid chap came up to him, started talking to him through the window and asking him all kinds of questions, telling him not to be afraid. And he had this long, drawn-out relationship with Derenberger. With this whole thing is like really interconnected or intertwined with the Mothman, and he did all these interviews and stated on how he had been to Ingrid Cold's home planet of Lanulus, and went up in his spacecraft.
Lanulus?
The Lanulus.
That sounds like an STD. Look out, people. I've got the Lanulus.
Very well. And there is a cream for that, no doubt. Wouldn't you say?
I don't know.
Okay. But Woody Derenberger, that was his name, or Woodrow Derenberger, rather. And he supposedly accompanied Ingrid Cole on his spaceship to Lanulus. Now, this was the 1960s, and 1966 was probably the best year, in my opinion, for Star Trek, the original series.
I was just going to say, this sounds like some sci-fi.
69, it started to go a little wonky to me when Shatner's hair started to grow out. He was losing it, and they grew it longer, but the culture was changing, so they actually added some other more hippie elements to the later.
That's fair, but that's exactly why later they hired a completely bald man to play the the captain in TNG.
Yes, the thinking man's captain. Yes. Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah, Jean-Luc Picard.
Nerds.
Yes. Well, I was a huge fan of James Tiberius because he got the honeys.
It's true.
He applied the smackdown.
He did.
He did, and
he punched a lot of aliens.
Yep, and he even turned on his own crew when he was infected with some alien virus or transporter malfunction.
I think that happened a couple times.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, yes.
Evil Kirk.
Exactly. Exactly. I love the evil Kirk. But the point about it is that this Woodrow Derenberger, you really want to believe his story. But the problem with him was he said, well, in the spaceship, the doors opened automatically. Well, no shit. They all.
should.
I know. And would there even really be something like a door? But he said the doors would open automatically. But they had hinges on them. Hinges. What? Yeah, hinges on the door. And he also said, and they also were able to photograph on Lanulus with their photography equipment, and the picture would come out on a piece of paper instantly. Like a Polaroid.
What?
That technology was, I believe, created in the 1940s. So just a lot of nonsense like that, stuff that he actually got off of wherever he got it off of. But it doesn't mean that his story is 100% nonsense and Ingrid Cole is 100% bullshit. It does not mean that. It means that something happened to this man, I believe, and he added some parts, And I believe that probably the majority of our audience is male. And remember, like, if you had gone out on a moonshine night with a couple of the boys when you were early into your relationship or marriage, and you come home and your wife asks you a question or two, and instead of just sticking with the one story that you came up on your way home, you start adding parts to it and adding all these different components. And, so I think that's what happened with Woodrow.
That makes sense. Keep it simple, gentlemen.
Exactly. So, not a lot on the Mothman because it's the brilliant movie that came out in, I think it was 2001, 2002, or like that. Yeah, the thing about it is though that movie, even though they changed the time and they changed some of the characters, and the movie actually goes over it much better than the majority of the reviews that I've seen on the actual event. But so what do we think on this true tale or festering fable?
I got nothing against a harbinger of doom. Not at all. Let us know what's happening. Come on. The Silver Surfer did it. He was kind of less effective at it, but he did it. That's to say, I gotta say, Festering fable.
Festering fable. Says you, Natasha.
Festering fable.
Festering.
I just don't. There's not enough information. So.
Okay. All
What
right.
say you?
I say Mothman sightings, true tale. I say Woody Derenberger, his account. 60% festering fable. Ingrid Cole, the smiling man. I would say 80% true tale. So I have to go true tale, Mothman.
If you're watching this, Mothman, he believes. He believes.
Yeah, I don't like them odds, but okay.
Exactly. So now let's get to Grimmhauser's movie moments, because I think you have some insight on some filmology.
So, the Mothman prophecies. The Richard Gere, aka Harrison Ford Light, or Diet Ford, if you will. It pretty much goes off like this dude visits a town after his wife dies, and if I remember this all clearly, he goes through a bunch of mysterious shit, sees a lot of things happening with a odd figure off to the side, just out of nowhere appearing, and he's like, "Is it you? Are you doing this?" But then it gets really strange, because then he starts receiving phone calls from people who aren't there,
Yes.
telling of things that will happen,
No.
but not really knowing why or how they'll happen. He has to kind of guess at the last minute. That's the majority of the movie, leading up to, of course, the infamous Ohio River incident. I believe that's what it's called, isn't it? The Ohio River Bridge?
Yes. Disaster. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he thought it was going to be a power plant, I believe. But no, it was nothing that cool. It was a bridge.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the Mothman is either a critic of architecture, or he was trying to say something and Richard Gere dropped the ball. What's it gonna be?
That's a good. It is really interesting. I thought the scene where the presents, because this happened on Christmas, or around Christmas time rather,
Yeah.
and the presents floating in the river. It was so eerie. The hotel scene where he was getting the calls from Ingrid Cole. And,
Yeah.
he said, "Well," Richard Gere's character said, "Well, where's my watch?" And Ingrid Cole said, "In your shoe, under the bed," because he had put it in his shoe and he slid it under the bed, and it was so creepy. And great Laura Linney, she is brilliant in that. I loved her in John Adams too. She was excellent. But yeah, she was excellent in that. And so yeah, Richard Gere light. I mean, Harrison Ford light. Richard Gere. Yeah, it's politics. He's a screwball, but as an actor. And especially in a genre like this, he's great. Plays good. He plays good financial executives too. But
Of course.
yeah.
It's kind of like, Brad Pitt and George Clooney in every single war movie you've ever seen.
Oh my God, yeah.
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah. So, and that's the funniest thing is I think it was on Pluto or Peacock. They had a movie just called Mothman, The Mothman. And I couldn't make it 20 minutes into it. It was so bad.
Oh, some indie stuff.
It was, I don't know what it was, but it was so bad.
Just because you can do an indie film doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess what I think with a lot of independent films and smaller films are, what they try to do is classify them as independent films when their budgets fall through or they realize that their movie's not great. So, it was just an independent film. No, it's a piece of crap. But, I was so mad. But anyway, so Stanley, Tennessee Cobb.
Oh, fuck.
That you served with.
Yeah.
And, served with Ray Casper too, the great Ray Casper, is calling in, and he is only calling in because he's on hold a while too, because he wants to say nice things. And so this will probably be the first show where we won't have I don't want to call Ray Casper foul, but
I would call him an insane elderly asshole, but that's just me.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one that says that. I personally love Ray Casper, but and I do everything I can.
Really?
I do everything I can to promote him and his channel and his.
He doesn't even know where you're from.
Yeah, he has no.
He doesn't care.
No, he just. Well, the thing about Ray Casper is, I believe he wants to get in his little jabs and his little cuties no matter what, and he probably rehearses them and then comes up with his little bits and whatever, so he can say that I'm from Burma or Borneo or whatever. What do I care? How do I care? Anyway, so Stanley, Tennessee, Cobb, thank you so much. Go ahead, Stanley.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on, Stanley.
Am I on the radio?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead, Stanley, please.
I'm a little nervous.
No, don't be.
Raspier that I remembered.
Okay.
I just want to take this time to thank you for letting me come on your show and giving me a moment to set the record straight. But between me and Ray Casper, but first and foremost, I wanna say hello and hello to you, Petty Officer Second Class, Blake Grimmhauser. I want to tell you, your viewing audience, give you a moment here, that Petty Officer Second Class Grimmhauser served with nothing but honor and distinction when I served with him.
That's nice.
I had to say that Grimmhauser was a first class act sailor, and he when it came to Casper, he did the right thing, and I just want to say hello to you, Grimmhauser.
That's nice.
Well, you can't go wrong with the guy fucking a pumpkin.
I'd like to say hello to the young missus. Sorry I didn't get your name, but I take this
Natasha.
time and opportunity to also apologize for the things that pesky dust my Ray Casper says to you.
Oh, that's nice.
That foul old man has a filthy mouth and a filthier mind. So
Filthy
hello
soul.
to you, missus.
Oh, that's
Hello.
Hello. Thank you.
I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know much of anything about flying saucers or Bigfoot or ghosts or anything like that, but I have a lot of stories that I could tell. I'll be honest, most of them are whiskey related, but I can still spin a yarn or two, and if you let me, I would just like to tell you about the time that what the hell going on here? What the hell
Is that-
on here, Andreas? Are you letting this inbred drunk on?
Oh, no.
On my
You hacked the satellite.
Here we go
putting
again.
the moves on my women, sniffing around. I don't know women.
Son of a
Thank you, Gordon. I don't ever want you calling this show again. I think you're gonna steal my co-host.
Ray.
Andreas, cut off Stinky Cornhole right now. Cut him off, I said.
I can't cut him off, okay? He called.
Okay, what?
Why does he do this?
Why don't you try to relax and not get so uptight and upset about every little thing,
Please.
especially for the pretty miss that's on the show. You act like a gentleman for once in front of a lady like her and an officer like Grimmhauser. You should actually show some good respect to these nice people that allow you on their show. You should really thank you, Carl. I'm gonna tell everyone right here on the AM about all of the times that you got drunk when you were on duty, and the one time you got the flight back, and I guess you were not even I'm even becoming of an officer in the United States Navy.
Okay,
Everything with you is just a bottle of hooch this and a bottle of hooch that. So right now, I am commanding you, Private Second Class, Petty Officer Second Class Grimmhauser, to take Stanley Cobb, take him below deck for the makings. Take him below, Grimmhauser. He's so
I'm not a deep
it's
six
a
that son of a
radio
bitch.
show. It can't take me.
What is this?
To take
Come on, wrap it up.
corn Cobb below for the makings, so he can kiss the gunner's daughter. He will kiss the gunner's daughter, and we are
Nice
going
making shit
to,
up.
he is going to clean up this ship and himself, and there'll be no more Shirley for
What the hell are you talking about?
Stanley.
We're
And
retired.
there'll be no more fraternizing with the degenerate natives of all those savage islands that he likes
What?
to use to mingle about in, and he will clean up this ship and himself and take him below Grimmhauser right now. Take him below.
better.
Take him below, I said, right now.
Jesus.
I ain't doing shit.
Well, Mr. Andreas, I think I'm gonna go for the night.
I think they've both been
I'm
drinking.
really sorry to down this way. We all kind of feel sorry for Ray Casper.
I don't.
And the way he acts, the way he gets along, and we don't even really know what the hell he's talking about. But I want to let you go, and I bid you a good night on your flying saucer show to all three of you, and minus that pesky dust mite, Ray Casper. Good night to you all.
Good night, Stanley. Thank you for calling.
Good night.
Oh, this is.
That was exhausting.
Son of a bitch.
Boy, you traitors. You disloyal. You three stabbed me in the back the first chance you got.
Yeah.
I do it again.
Eating a stanky corn, I'll come on here and it's very upset.
Every day.
I do know what I'm going to do tonight, but it's not going to be good. And if I am no longer around,
Oh no.
yeah, you are. You'll know what I had to do. And,
Oh, please.
So I just
How?
obviously all have had enough of me. That's why you all turned on me, and you're out for my blood. And so that's
not, Ray.
last time you ever
I am.
have to hear from or deal with Ray Casper.
Hey, Todd.
Ever again, so
No.
I will say a final goodbye, I'm afraid, to everyone here tonight. So, goodbye, everybody. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank God. Yes. Best show ever.
Yeah, right. He's coming back.
Ass wipes.
I almost was feeling sorry for him.
Almost. Not me.
What if he like offs himself?
Awesome.
Oh my
Everyone
god.
has free will.
Oh, now that was just supposed to be. That's not what the call was
Just kidding, don't
supposed
do
to
that.
be. So, our apologies. And now I just kind of took the wind out of my sails. This.
Well, you're really, really sensitive.
I don't know. I'm flying right now.
Well,
Jeez.
these sound a little. Man, sound like he was
Estrogen levels are
crying
kind
at
of
the.
high, maybe.
Look, you can't trust him. You can't trust him. Those are crocodile tears. That man is insane. He fucks pumpkins.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, well,
He
All right.
okay, he smashes squash. You cannot trust him.
I suppose.
You really like talking about that, don't you?
I saw it and it's burned into my brain.
Yeah, but you talk about it.
You talk too much.
So we all love each other here on the Erich Andreas Unexplained,
Oh.
for the most part, 90%. But once again, I apologize for that display.
You keep letting him come back.
Well, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
you're
I
not
did.
sorry.
I'm sorry because he sounded like he was something tragic. I know these are older gentlemen and they've all been drinking and but,
Drinking's all they do.
well, I know, and but Stanley Cobb likes the more homemade sort of drinking, to put it.
Look, their blood type is moonshine. That's all there is to it.
Exactly.
Let's try not to talk more about Ray Casper than we do
Exactly.
Fair
the
enough.
subject,
I
you know?
Fair enough.
Let's
So-
balance it out.
Anyway, so let's wrap this up. Mothman. I want to believe. I want to believe.
Got a real Mulder complex. Yeah.
I really do. I really do. You know, they talked about bringing that show back.
I love that show.
Yeah, they
It was good, but I mean, like, why would you bring
I'm
it back?
actually rewatching X-Files. Right
Well, actually, believe it or not, I'm unusually guilty in this
guess.
because I never saw it. I never
Really?
No, I never saw it. I
Okay,
never
what's up?
It's on Hulu. Watch it.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
all right.
Just watch it.
It was, and
It's actually really interesting. You probably love it.
no, I might love it, but I think
Yeah, Gillian Anderson at her best.
I didn't think it. I loved her as Margaret Thatcher. I loved her. Oh my God, she was so great in that. But the thing about it is that back then, when that show was on, I just the fact that it was on. Would it be called terrestrial TV? What would it be called?
Cable.
Yeah, cable TV. I didn't like it that it was actually on like regular TV. I just think, how could this possibly be good? But now that
I
I
make money from people watching it.
I mean,
I know now I'm a little older. I think I might go back and watch it. Yeah.
I think you owe yourself
Better than
some...
a lot of shows that come out these days.
I would-
Exactly. You owe yourself a lot of retro watching.
Oh, I really do. Really quick before we sign out here.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually I watched the entire full season of The Day of the Jackal. Now, this is not paranormal related, obviously. Yeah, The Day of the Jackal. I love the original movie, Day of the Jackal, with that's in my top 20, The Day of the Jackal.
I think you're losing me here. I didn't see this one.
Oh yeah. Well, God, what would I call the original Day of the Jackal? It was a movie about a hitman and his trials and his adventures just to be able to finish the final hit. And so anyway, the new series that just came out, I even paid to watch it on Peacock, and I'll cancel it immediately. But with Eddie Redmayne playing the Jackal, and he actually did a really good job. The other supporting cast,
Not so much.
thumbs down.
Oh,
Terrible.
you know you're stuck when you can't handle being a supporting cast member.
And if anyone who's watching this has watched any of the episodes or watched the entire series, they've only done one series. There's some stuff in there that shouldn't have been in there, but I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there was a late 90s one that came out with Bruce Willis. It was called, I think, just The Jackal, and Harrison Ford, Light Richard Gere.
Oh,
And it's worth watching. It wasn't great, but it's interesting, you know. But yeah, it gets into the disguises and what he has to do to, you know,
get his job done
yeah,
there.
very interesting. Well, anyway, so once again, this was just a quick one, I think, until it hits the editing. Thank you so much for tuning in to Erich Andreas Unexplained once again. Please give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a sassy comment. Is that sassy a good word?
Something like, you can't spell assassin without ass or sin. Think about it, guys.
Sin. Exactly.
Think about it.
That's a clever one. He just came up with that.
No, for sure he did not.
No,
He's
yes,
not
he
that cool.
did.
I am that cool. You just wish I wasn't.
So our friend Natasha here is it's not a good day for her. She wants to
Back off.
cut our throats tonight for other reasons, which have nothing to do with the Mothman.
No worries, no worries. So, moving.
Oh, not true.
Which makes her perfect for this show. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. As per usual, I'd like to offer our Erich Andreas 2 thumbs up and the peace out. Whatever that means. What does that mean?
Bye.